Welcome, everybody to Money Mindset, the show where we speak to ordinary people who have done extraordinary things because they changed their mind about money. So what you just saw was a snippet of our next guest, who I'm so excited to have on the show today. He's an artist, he's a writer, he's a producer. Y'all put your hands together for DEVN. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? I'm glad to be here, bro.
Yeah, man. Long time no see. We've been working at this for a while.
Word, yeah. For the longest, I didn't know you had the podcast. So I'm glad you reached out to me,
Yeah,
man. Again,
yeah,
I'm
man.
excited.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you. So, we're gonna dive right into it. Just like I mentioned, the people see a little snippet of your latest video, and we're gonna talk about the music in a minute. But the purpose of the show is I like to talk to people that look just like them, like you know what I mean, and regular people who said, you know what, I'm gonna put some trust in my skills, some trust and faith in me, and I'm gonna put myself out there. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time talking about your story, and then we'll give you the opportunity to tell the people, hey, what projects they can find you on, where to find you, what you got going on. But I want to start with who you are. So, Devin, real quick, you are a Charlotte native, correct?
Yeah, that's right. They call us unicorns.
Out here, right? That's right, because everybody in Charlotte now ain't from Charlotte. So you in Charlotte your whole life. You from out here. And I will say, I noticed, there's definitely an element that's influenced your music. But before I get in that, how long have you been an artist? Like, when did you first say, yeah, this is for me?
Well, it started. My grandma used to have me in church all the time, so it started young. I used to see them doing stuff, right? Choirs, piano lessons, man, anything you can think of. But professionally, I've been an artist for 14 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, I got my first opportunity around 17.
What?
So, yeah.
So started in the church, piano lessons, all that stuff. So at a young age, you were doing this, but you officially, as an artist, working artist, since the age of 17?
Yes. Yep. Got in the music business at 17.
So what was that like? How did that happen? What if you can tell the story, what was that experience like? How did that happen? Tell the people.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So I have a friend, and he produces for Ray Shrum, and if I think that's how they pronounce their name. I always get it wrong, but he does a lot of big things now. He's doing this thing. So when we were younger, none of us had opportunities. Like, we didn't have the deals or anything like that. He basically he was always ahead in a way. So he had this Mac laptop, not laptop, desktop, and he was giving it away. I bought it from him for like $100. Never seen anything like it. Didn't know what it was. Right. I just knew that he was recording on it. I wanted to record, so I bought it from him for $100, and I used it. I put it in my closet. I didn't have a studio, so I used to stuff clothes in the closet to soundproof everything. Yeah. And I had a Guitar Hero mic, and I plugged the Guitar Hero mic up in it, downloaded a GarageBand, and I made it work, right? I was like, okay, so I'm getting the hang of this. The wild thing is, and I feel like I manifested this, I ended up getting an opportunity a year later. The first opportunity was with Brit Squad as a producer. So me and my friend, we had this group, and they called us down to Belton, South Carolina. And it was like, hey, come down here. We're going to do some paperwork. Long story short, it never worked out. it didn't work out. So then I got another opportunity. Okay. And then I ran into this guy. He was signed with Columbia and Sony, and he was affiliated with a few people there. And that's when I got my opportunity. And
all right, so before you get into the deets of that, because I appreciate the background story, because you just gave me a lot of ammo. So I don't know if y'all caught that, but this brother said that he was using Guitar Hero, a Guitar Hero mic in the closet You know what I mean?
Right.
To exercise the demons that was telling him I need to make music. What
Right.
was the name of that PlayStation game? Because I'm not gonna front. I made beats with it too. You remember the PlayStation game that you can make beats? It was well, it was a game that you can make beats with.
Um,
I
it was
don't
a
know.
lot of them.
We won't. Y'all leave it in the comments, but I got CDs with those beats right now. But anyways, so so your first in was actually as a producer, but then that didn't pan out.
Right. It didn't pan out. My friend, we went there and we went to the club, and I'll go in the club and it's, like I said, it's Brit Squad, so it's bottles everywhere. We're the age,
Right.
mind you. So
Yeah.
anyway, after the club, we drive into the hotel to do paperwork, and my friend freaks out and he just doesn't do it. And at the time I wasn't driving, he was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." I'm like, "What we come down here for?"
So he was
So I was
nervous.
like, "Dang, yeah, he never did it. Don't really." But again, a couple months after that, I got another opportunity. So he was with me then. I went in the studio, never seen anything like it in my life. Like this was a real recording studio.
Right.
And the guy was like, "What do y'all want? What do you want from me? Like, what do y'all want?" And I'm like, "Cause we kids."
Right. Right.
And he was like, "What do y'all want?" And I was like, "Well, I want to learn. I want to be a student, man. I'm just trying to learn. I never seen nothing like this."
Mm-hmm.
My friend was a little arrogant, and he was like, "Oh no, I don't really need nothing, man. I just want to, he didn't really need nothing." He was like, "Well, I can't do nothing with you." And I had to make the conscious decision to say, "Yo, am I gonna stick with my friend, or am I gonna
Right.
do my own thing and be a student?"
Right.
And I have no money. I mean, I'm a kid, remember 17, and I told the dude, I said, "Listen, I want to record. I want to be a student. I don't have no money. I don't have nothing, man. If you just let me take the trash out, I'll clean the studio. I do food runs, whatever I can to just learn and record for free." And he was like, "All right, you got a deal. If you can clean up the studio, make sure stuff tight, throw trash out, I'll let you clean up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let you record."
What's crazy, Devin, and I can't remember right now. It doesn't come to me, but I was just watching an interview with a major artist who said a very similar story where it was just like, yo, I want this so bad. Just let me be here and take the trash out. And, or, you know what I mean? I'll clean the studio
Mm-hmm.
and let me work. So let me ask you this, because this is money mindset. We're going to talk about how did that translate into the future. But what gave you that drive where, your man was like, nah, I'm good, son. I just want to do a little something, something, you know what I'm saying? Where you was like, look, man, I just want to be in the mix. I want to learn. I want to be, you know, here. I'll do whatever it takes. Because mind you, 17, that's real mature for a 17-year-old. You know what I mean? So like, what what gave you that drive, like to know, hey, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, even at that age?
Um, I was always an underdog. Like I was always somebody that got overlooked, and I was always in positions where I could never really like surface. And I think that's what made me be like, "Nah, bro, I'm gonna speak for myself," because I was always allowing others to make decisions for me, and then I kept noticing that wasn't getting me anywhere. So from the Brit Squad stuff to the other stuff that I didn't even mention, just like everything was based off of, okay, well, we gonna do this instead of me going, well, what do I want to do? And then family, just kind of seeing the situations your family in, and you just want to be bigger, you want to be better, and I think that's what pushed me to do that. Just
Okay.
really just sitting with myself and saying, you know what, I'm gonna make this. I don't care if it's wrong. It feel right, so I'm gonna just do it. And I did it. And there's a quote, and it tells you if you're not, if you don't take chances, then
Mm-hmm.
you probably won't go anywhere because
Yeah,
you'll never know. So
right. You
you
gotta
know,
put it out there.
you got to take those chances, and it changed my life. It in the nick like that, just
That's
because I
what's up.
decided. Mm-hmm.
So that's what's up, man. And that's and for everybody listening, the drive has to come from somewhere, right? Because to Devin's point, not everybody gonna give it to you, and not everybody gonna be on your level, and you got to be able to say, nope. You know what? I'm done letting y'all speak for me. I'm gonna do this because it feels right for me, and that
Right.
drive comes from, you know,
Internal.
right, the internal need to do better. I love it,
Mm-hmm.
man. I love it. So let's move on. So you scrubbing gum off the bottom of the table at the studio. No, I'm kidding, but you at the studio. So
Right.
did things start popping off right away, or was there a long period where you were just kind of learning? Like, were you trying to learn how to mix, how to produce, how to set it up, or all of the above? And then, like, how long did it take before things really started to pop off? I just asked you mad questions.
No, I can answer all of them. So I already kind of had an idea of how to mix and do stuff, right?
Okay.
Um, but I wasn't an expert yet. So
Okay.
that's just because I used to walk. It used to be a studio downtown in a library. And people in Charlotte may know what this library is, but it's called Imaginon. And back then, Imaginon had a recording studio. So I used to go there, walk from school, walk from home, going straight to the studio, going to learn how to engineer. And so about the time I got to this point in my life, I was like, okay, I got an idea of how to hit record. And so no, things didn't pop off immediately. But what did happen is um I was consistent. I took the trash out, I was able to record. And one day everybody was in the studio and we was just sitting there chilling. All of the artists, there were artists there before me. And I was sitting there chilling. And then one day the CEO walks in and he says, because my song was playing in the background. He was like, yo, who is this? And they was like, oh, that's Devo. That's what they used to call me. That's
Okay.
little man right there. And he was like, yo, that's you. And I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't raise your hand, man? You ain't said nothing. You ain't gonna say nothing. I was like, man, I'm just happy to be here. He was like, look, he put me to the side and he was like, yo, first of all, that's one of the best songs I heard for somebody your age. And then he was like, because you were humble and you didn't say nothing and you weren't arrogant, I want to make you the main artist.
Mm.
And he was like, because if that was anybody else, they would have been quick to be like, that's me. Or some and so
That's my shit right there, son.
right. So he gave me that opportunity, man, and he taught me everything that I knew, about the game, the industry, all the way down to the engineering. He sharpened my skills. So
How
I was
important
I
would you
was
say that time was that you spent with him? How big of an impact
super.
had that on you right now? Go ahead.
It's everything that I am now. I have 5 years of artist development. Artist development is like a lost art. I don't think a lot of artists go through artist development now. Shout out to Ice Spice. Uh, so you know, obviously she's successful. So congrats to her. But a lot of artists, you'll see that they don't go through development, so they don't know what to do or when to do it. They don't know the business, and so I went through
So
5 years to get.
I'm a use a term and date myself, but back in my day, we called it you gotta pay your dues first, right?
Absolutely.
You gotta pay your dues first. So 5 years under someone else's tutelage before you actually came out. That's
Yeah,
dope.
but you know what's crazy, Marcus, is that your era of music, right? What would you say, like the '90s
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like your era? Okay, so
100%.
I learned from your era, your generation.
Right.
The At the time, the guy I was with, he was signed with Jermaine Dupri and Michael Malden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was with Maxwell and Drew Hill and all of these people. He even was on stage with Tupac at some point. So when he was teaching me the game, he was teaching me the do's and the don'ts. But it's from that era, like learning how to appreciate those who came before us.
Right.
So I stand on this when I say, um, you see further than others when you stand on the shoulders of giants, right? Or if you stand on the shoulders of giants, you see further than others.
Bars.
So I I used to get cussed out every day for 5 years because of me being arrogant, because of me thinking I know everything. Because I was young
Right, right.
and I had to learn it over and over until it became like second nature. And so when I caught on, man, it made me everything that I am now. And now that I'm really deeper in it, I'm like, yo, he was right. This is
Right.
how it is. You can't reinvent the wheel.
It's coming into fruition, everything he warned you about.
Yep,
Man,
everything. And I'm
that,
like, this is crazy.
that's dope. Listen, man, I agree. I agree. I think in many industries, and I'm not saying all, but many industries, man, a lot of people just they want that microwave reaction. Like I just want to hit a button, press start, and boom, I'm famous, right? But what would you say was the number one reason besides wanting to create me? Well, no, okay, no, I won't. I won't put a buffer on it. What would you say is the number one factor that kept you dealing with a '90s dude for 5 years, getting yelled at, going, "Bro, was yo, blah blah blah." What kept you there, learning that? What get? What would you say was the one thing that? Nope, I'm gonna endure this.
Yeah, because I saw myself getting better. Like within the development, I saw myself molding into a star. Like I started going on MTV, and then I started records were coming out, and it was just crazy. Like I started seeing myself. We was in limousines and we doing bigger shows. I'm like, while all of this development is going on, you're seeing this, and I'm like, oh, he knows something. So I need to shut up and just be a student. And so if I wasn't seeing nothing happen, I'm just like, where you just yelling, I'm not going nowhere. It'd have been different. But I was going places and I could feel it. I could feel it, man. I could feel it every time he would say something, and then boom. And a lot of stuff I didn't agree with. I'm like, bro, man, what you talking about? But then I was like, oh, okay. And then it'll work. And then we'll just go higher and higher. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's what kept me there.
That's dope. So seeing things in place starting to
Mm.
happen. And see, and this is why you all have heard this on the show. Many guests always talk about writing your vision and giving goals and then checking it off. You got to see stuff manifest. That keeps you motivated. Like if you ain't seeing the results of going to the gym, you're gonna stop going to the gym, right?
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's dope. All right, so I want to talk about a time period where everything wasn't champagne and popping and limos and all that because there was a time frame where you had to hold down a 9 to 5 while doing all this.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
my question to you, Devin, because there's someone right now at a 9 to 5 wanting to do everything you're doing right now. So my question to you is,
Mm-hmm.
how was that experience? Like, keep it all the way 100 as you can. How was that experience knowing you had to punch in and go be productive while having
That was
a verse in your head or a beat? Go ahead.
that was cool with me. I never wanted to rob myself of the journey
Mm,
because I think when you rob yourself of that journey,
mm,
then you don't appreciate like when you get to that certain level, you're like, dang. So never rob yourself of the journey. If you work in a 9 to 5, that's okay because listen, slow motion is better than no motion. So
ooh,
if you working
bars.
and and bro, a lot of people don't understand and understand that it takes money to make money. You can literally work that 9 to 5 and then put it into studio equipment. Work that 9 to 5, go buy you a new camera if you're a photographer. Work that 9 to 5 and just invest into yourself, put it back into yourself. One of my managers had told me one time, one of my music managers, he said, you're not your situation. So, if you do have a 9 to 5, don't look at it like, oh man, I'm just stuck at work. It's just something that you have to do. I think everybody has to follow a formula. We cannot reinvent the wheel. So you can look at Elon Musk or all of these people, or let's go back to Jeff Bezos. They started at the bottom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, billion-dollar companies, but they started somewhere, and they didn't rob themselves of the journey. Now they're billionaires. So work your job, but don't get too caught up in the job to the point where you're losing your vision. If you got a dream, I would say use that job, invest into your passion.
All right.
Eventually, you put so much money and time into, you're balancing both. Eventually, your dream becomes your job. So nothing's
So,
wrong with having a 9 to 5.
so you answered my next question, which was I was gonna say, uh, how did you keep yourself from not getting stagnant at work? Maybe you saw some successes, maybe you got promotions. How did you keep yourself from not walking away from the music because you were getting comfortable at work? But I feel like you just answered it which was that you were taking work and investing it in your dream. So it was never in play to take place of the dream because you were utilizing that as a tool to make your dream come true, right?
Right. And that's exactly how anybody should do that. Like people get a job, man, I want to work a job. Like, but where's your income going to come from? You need to have some income so you can make this happen over here. Man, I was using a Guitar Hero mic. I took $100 and invested into a computer. It took me to this level. Then I was taking trash out. That's not money, but I invested something and it went from there. I mean, you gotta I also learned there's humility before ability. So if you can't be humiliated, bro, there's humility before ability. I used to work at Home Depot. I used to push carts, work in the garden, freight trucks, whatever it took to make sure I got that bag. And I had that humility because I didn't want to rob myself for the journey. Now I get to a certain place and I'm super confident because I'm like, man, bro, I didn't did that. Oh, I didn't did this. Oh, I didn't did that. I didn't been humiliated. So,
man, you just dropped the bar because I don't know if y'all caught that, but if I can just repeat, which is Devin never saw work as like an obstacle, like, oh man, I gotta go to work. It was always, I'm going to work so I can make my dream come true. I'm gonna go push this cart so I can go pay for this. I'm gonna go take the trash out so I can do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the gardening. Man, that's dope because I was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I pursued music and I got to the place where you're at now. But at first, it was like I went so hard in the music where I was risking the job because music was everything. So when I say like music was everything, it's like, you know, I'm at the club till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning performing, knowing I gotta be at work, but which is cool. But instead of making sure I didn't like destroy myself that night, I'd be dragging into work like I can't even perform. And what I learned is I had to find balance because work was financing my dream. So you
right.
caught that early. You caught that early, and that's dope. And I need y'all to catch that, all you future artists, is yes, the music is 100% important, but you let your job get you to that dream. If you got to work it, work it. But work it knowing that it's helping you get to where you're trying to get to.
Yeah, and then I recommend like as much time as you put into your job, put it into your craft. You know what I mean? Just understand that duality is a thing. The universe show you that every day. There's a sun, there's a moon. One's in the daytime, one's in the nighttime. There's, like I said, day and night, good and evil. I mean, everything has balance. That's just the way the world is. So if it's your reality and a dream, you just got to balance them out and figure out how you can make them complement each other in a way.
So what you're saying is, go ahead, my bad.
And then again, just make it, make it a stepping stool instead of like, oh, I'm going to work and I'm not like push through.
So what you're saying is you shouldn't give another person's dream, because that's what it is when you work for somebody else. You shouldn't give another person's dream more energy than you give your own.
Right. Instead, you should go to work, look at it like this. You're not working for them, they're working for you. They hire you for your services.
Right.
That's how I look at a job. Oh, yeah. Oh, you need me to do something for you? Okay, I'll come in. Just make sure you pay me. And then I get paid. And then I go back and I put that into my whatever I need. But that's how people should look at it.
Dope. All right. So Devin, you started from the bottom, going in through the taking out the trash and all that in the studio. You got hits out. Now, you've done some things. So, wasn't you just at what's J. Cole's joint called?
Dreamville Fest. Yeah, it was my third year doing Dreamville Fest.
So how you get hooked up with that? So we start from year one because I follow you on the gram. So he was at Dreamville Fest, and I have a question. You might answer it, but tell me how you got hooked up with that.
Okay, so my brother's a photographer. He's a very huge photographer in the city. So, and then one of my friends that I grew up with, he signed to J. Cole directly. His name is Luke.
Okay.
And so his mother was my daycare teacher, right? But we forgot because we were kids. We kind of forgot who we were when we got older.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's like reintroducing yourself to somebody and you have no idea who this person is. So while I was in the studio and I was taking the trash out and doing a lot of other stuff, probably a couple years afterwards, people were like, "Yo, you need to do a song with this guy named Luke." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. We'll link one day." 10 years later, we end up doing a record, but it's because my brother did his album cover. He did his album cover, and so my brother's a big part of my career and things happening for me. But he reached out to Luke's management, and he was like, "Yo, I got an artist that I think you might be interested in. He pretty dope." And they responded. They said, "Well, if we like him, then we'll see what we can do. We'll let you know." They never say, "Yeah, okay," because the industry. So they heard my music. I had already had a bunch of music put together. He heard the music and was like, "Yo, who is this?" And he was like, "Oh, it's my twin brother."
Mm.
And then the dude was like, "Man, you got to be kidding me. Ain't no way." And he was like, "I want to do the deal." And at this time, I was working at Go Health in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was sitting on the taking calls, working, and they called me and it was like, "Yo, we want to do the deal." It was a production deal. And I said, "Okay." So I went on a break, ran downstairs. I signed some paperwork through my phone because it was electronic.
Right.
I signed it on my phone. I went back to work. Like nothing happened. But so that's how that happened, man. My brother took the picture, contacted the dude. I was ready. That's another gem for people. Luck is being prepared when the time comes.
Mm.
People want, "Oh, you lucky." No, you got to be prepared. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So I already had that music ready. I'm like, here it is, boom. And I had perfected my craft. Remember, I had already had development, and I was a student, so I was already ready when the opportunity came. And that's how it happened. They called me to the studio one day for Luke's project. I went in there about 20, 30 minutes, knocked it out. Didn't know if it was gonna make the project or not, but I did what I was supposed to, and it went up from there.
Yeah, so I love what you said about you're not lucky, you just prepared. And I
Mm-hmm.
agree. There's a saying that says, you work hard enough to be lucky, right? And that's the key.
Right.
You gotta put in the work. And if you put in the work, you're gonna find yourself in lucky situations because you prepared, you put in the work. I love it, brother. That's a dope story. So let me ask you this. You've been there 3 years. I'm just curious, has your involvement in the show increased year over year? Like, have you seen yourself maybe having a longer set or things like that?
Uh, yeah, yeah. I find that I'm doing way more shows. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm more uh I won't say desirable, but it's people want me around more for things.
That's what's up.
And so they definitely, hey, come do a show with me. Funny thing is, a lot of people in this culture. I have a song with half of the music culture. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone in this, pretty much in this culture. Um, I have a record with them
Mm.
for the the people that I know.
Right.
Um, so there's, and I think a lot of artists don't have that. Like they don't. A lot of artists, they're not chameleons. Typically, people just rap. Some people just sing. I do everything. So when it comes to like having records with a lot of artists, I probably uh, excel at that. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna
man,
say,
gotta be.
man, because I was gonna ask you, like, what would you describe your music? Because I'm a fan, and we're gonna talk about your projects here in a second. But R&B, rap, what would you consider your music? Or it is what it
Okay, so
is.
no, my genre is trap soul. So because I rap, I'm from Beta Ford, so we got that gritty in us.
Ah,
but then I had that R&B element too. But I'm not all the way R&B. I'm not Chris Brown or Beyonce. You're not gonna get me to sing like that because
right.
it ain't gonna happen. But I can Weekend and Bryson Tiller, and we can do all of that. Like I can hit some notes. So I'm in this trap soul genre.
Mm, okay.
Like if you ever heard Black, or like I said, Bryson Tiller, or Weekend or Don Tolliver or something like that, it's definitely trap soul for me.
Okay. How many um how many artists uh have you appeared on with? I have the list in front of me, but I'm giving you an opportunity to kind of put yourself out there. Like, how many artists would you say you've done music with up to this point?
So I got a new album coming out, by the way. Maybe in a month, maybe 2 months, 3 months. It's coming. It's gonna be crazy. But I have a Lute. I work with Lute. I've worked with Elevated J. I've worked with Eric Lottery. There's some local artists that I've worked with. So you have the Makeda, you have Shane, you have Risky Bentley. I've worked with some people we haven't even put the records out. Ghost man, I can't even count on my fingers. It's probably well over 30 to 40 artists. And then the artists that I've actually engineered or mixed records for, man, it's probably in the hundreds. Like I've done a lot in the music community here and been on a lot of people's stuff. So I'm losing count.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something real quick. If it isn't obvious, I know this brother from when we worked together, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. That humility that he learned in those 5 years, it stuck because you talk to this brother, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. He don't walk around. Yeah, son, I was up all night at the studio with Redman and Method Man. I'm mad tired, but I'm here to work. You know what I mean? I'm making that up, but it was that was never the case. I don't even remember how the conversation even came up about music, and we just started talking about music, and you started, saying some stuff, and I started saying some stuff, and I could tell, like, yeah, okay, this brother, he doing something. And then we got to talking, but that humility, man, is gonna pay off, bro. You have been blessed, and you're gonna continue to be blessed because you put nothing but positive energy out there. You know what I mean? You don't have an arrogance about you. And it's okay to be confident. Let me be clear on that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think there's a difference between being confident and arrogant, and you don't put arrogance out. Like,
Yeah.
you just do positivity, man. You got a lot of great energy, and I appreciate you. And I didn't even know you engineered like that many. Like, I didn't know it was like
Yeah.
that. You told
Yeah.
me, yeah, that was like what you was doing, but I didn't realize it was,
Man,
that's good.
I've engineered Ray Charles' grandson. Like, man, I done engineered so many different people. I like, and I've seen a lot, you know what I'm saying? But I've also learned that um power is saying less than necessary. If people want to know, they'll ask. And so I'm not just quick to just be like, blah, blah, blah. I've done this. I've done a lot from podcasts. I got co-signed by Ebro. I've
Okay.
had the pleasure to being around Peter Rosenberg and a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? The J. Cole's or whoever.
Yeah.
I can go on. Been in the same room with LeBron and Fabulous and just, it's ridiculous. I could
Being
keep
on
going.
Marcus Mason's podcast.
Absolutely. We here.
My dude. So
We
listen,
here, man.
I'm gonna give you we're gonna talk quickly about your current projects, and then I want to talk about whatever you can divulge about the future. But real quick, tell the people, uh so you got two album releases available on streaming, right? You got St. Luke Street and then St. Luke Street, the deluxe version, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any
Right.
other album projects that are available streaming, or are just those currently the only two?
As far as EPs, yeah, those are the only ones. And then of course I'm on Luke's album that was through Interscope in Dreamville.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a record called Myself with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, this I got a lot of stuff out there, but I only have two. Well, the deluxe is the same as the original. I just added 3 songs to
You
the
just add
project.
songs. Okay. So,
Yep.
but you kind of just threw that out there because I want the people to be able to find your music. So, Devin, DEVN, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can see, you can find him on all the streaming services. He's got St. Luke Street and St. Luke Street, the deluxe version, but he's also found on a couple other albums. You said Luke album. Who else?
Luke, there's a guy named Shane Gang.
Okay.
I'm on his project.
Okay.
I'm on a few people, but
All
yeah,
right.
it's capital all caps DEVN.
And how can they find you on the gram? You on the gram?
Us who? Yep. Instagram, Twitter, everything. It's who is Devin? So who is and then DEVN because I know y'all gonna be like, who is that? So I was like, let me.
So you just made that the name.
Who is Devin?
Let me answer. Here it is right here. I love it. All right,
But
so now y'all got his Twitter, you got his Instagram handle, and you know you can find his music on streaming. Tell the people what you can talk about that's coming up right now. Oh, and also he got videos. You can watch his videos on YouTube. Like you just saw a snippet of one of his videos. But you got another video for Freak, right?
yep.
Okay. Okay, so I
Yep.
might drop that for y'all too. But so we got a couple videos. All right, tell that's my joint. That's I like that joint. But
Wait till you hit a new project. It's crazy because I did that in 2019, sorry. That whole album.
yo, to
And then
be
it
clear,
came out.
your album, we was talking about it earlier, but Chase, I need that. The album's dope. I rocks with
Appreciate
it.
that.
I rocks with it.
Yeah,
I'm just
appreciate
saying. I
that.
think Freak is my joint because that was the one you introduced me to first. You
Right,
know,
right.
so I was rocking that for a minute, and then the EP dropped. But all right, so what you got going on, Devin? Talk to the people.
All right, so I got a new project coming out, and I have a lot of dope artists on this one. Like a lot of Charlotte's biggest artists are on this project. I was like, yeah, let me use my influence. I'm gonna get as many dope artists as I can. But no, I'm making it about the culture. I feel like I have a industry connection, and I don't think people give other artists the opportunity to uh, go up in the way that I'm trying to. So I've reached out to a lot of artists in the culture and in the community that are doing a thing, and got them on the project. So that's going to be coming out. It's a lot more rap on the project,
Okay.
so it's singing too, but it's a lot more trap and just vibes and energy on this one. I do have an artist that she's like my first artist ever while I'm being an artist.
Okay.
So the same things that I learned, I'm teaching her, and she's
That's
going
good.
crazy right now. Yeah, so she's going crazy. Her name's Tracy. So she's on the
Shout out to
project, but
Tracy.
yeah, yeah, and she just dropped a new song called Face.
Okay.
It's called Face, and that's on all digital platforms. But yeah, new project coming, new videos coming, and I'm excited.
Any shows coming that we can catch you at?
Yeah, those will be coming up soon. I'll keep everybody updated about those.
Okay.
But yeah, I had Dreamville Fest. We
Mm-hmm.
did a show with Ninth Wonders artist Ruben Vincent. He had a show, and Luke brought me out for that one. And yeah, so I'll keep everybody updated on the shows.
Right. Right. Well, look, man. I just wanted to say you're doing your thing, bro. Really, really proud of you. Proud to know you. Number one, honored to know you. And just watching you go, even for the short period of time I got to watch you in all this, and see you do your thing on the sidelines as a fan, virtually, but also knowing you, man. Salute to you, bro. Like for real, I, I had to get you on here because I think your story is something that people need to hear. Like, you can do it. And so, with on that note, before I let you go, I just want you to look in the camera and tell the people who are just like you watching this, taking the trash out, cleaning floors on their computer, or they probably if they in Charlotte, they probably at a call center. um,
Hey,
and wanting to do this, what advice would you give them?
I would say do the internal work first because it starts. The body is like a battery, right? So when we want to manifest things, we got to go and we got to do the internal work first. If you want to be a millionaire, you got to believe that you're a millionaire. And then I think his name was John Rohn. He's a millionaire. You know, I'm with the money, the mindset, man.
Let's
So
go.
I listen to a lot of millionaires. He said that it's not about the money, right? It's about the person that you have to become in the first place. And I don't think people understand that you have to become a certain type of person. So you got to become disciplined, right? You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna do music. Music is the background to the movie, right? Or anything that you do. Like I do music, it's the background to the movie. If you listen to Mission Impossible or James Bond, imagine that those movies without that music, it's nothing.
Right.
It's just like, what is this? But the music makes it what it is.
Yeah.
So do the inner work, figure out what makes you happy, sit with yourself, figure out what you don't like, and then also understand that your job is a stepping stool. You will get there if you want to get there. If you say, look, I'm gonna be a multimillionaire, you will be a multimillionaire. But again, to whom much is given, much is going to be required. I don't think people know that. I got that tatted on my arm. To whom much is given, much is required. So you want to be a millionaire, you have to change who you are, whether that's eating better, going to bed at a certain time, getting up 5 o'clock in the morning. It might be dark outside, but you need to get up before everybody else gets up. It's 24 hours, right? If you wake up at 5 o'clock, everybody else waking up 10 o'clock, man, you're going to beat them. You're going to beat them every time. So you have to change how you are, change your mindset, change your diet, go work out a little bit, just change everything. And then those things will start to manifest in your life. So,
bars. Man,
yeah.
you just dropped a whole lot there, bro. And now you just open up a whole can of worms, but I don't have time. We're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, man, I'll come back on and
we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to. Listen, right when the new album drop, I'll bring you back on. We're gonna talk about it. But listen, man,
for sure.
salute to you, family. Give my love to your family as always, and man, just bless you, bro, and just keep it up. Keep giving that positive energy and man, sharing the pathway, man. That's dope. You're gonna reap what you sow for certain, man. But salute to you once again. I appreciate you joining the show. Y'all check Devin out, man. Go on all the streaming services, DEVN. Download it, like it. Go to YouTube, watch the videos, follow him on the gram so you know what's coming up next. Follow him up on Twitter so you know what's coming up next. And yeah, man, much appreciated, family.
Yeah, man, you know it. Anytime, bro. I look forward to coming back.
I appreciate you, brother. Salute. Well, listen, y'all. That's it, man. Devin is doing his thing. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Again, on all the streaming services. Be on the lookout for his new record and the other records that he's on with the other artists that he mentioned. Go on the gram, go on Twitter, check him out. But put in the work, like he said, put in the work and believe that you can do it. See that you can do it. See yourself doing it and watch it manifest. I see y'all at the next one, Money Mindset.